So in the previous video, we unboxed and set up our triple beam balance. Now I'm going to be showing us how to use this triple beam balance to take measurements of masses. First of all, we see that the triple beam balance is a mechanical scale that tries to balance two sides. In the middle here, we have like a pivot or a center where we have like the right part for a mass, and also the left part, which is also this span, is also for another type of mass. So what we are going to be doing is we are going to try to balance the weight on our right and also the weight on our left. Now the weight on our right are known weights. I'm going to show us how to use this, and then when we come to a balance, we can then be able to tell what weight is on the left by just reading the total masses, number of masses or sum of masses that is by our right. So I'm going to demonstrate that, and that's a little bit confusing. First things first, I'm going to take off this plastic or foamy guide here. So it's like a washer that is used to protect the balance. So now, after doing that, the next thing you have to do is make sure that all the sliding masses, you can see in these three scales or three beams, that's why it's called triple beam. It has 1, 2, 3. So in these three beams, we have like sliding masses here. So you are going to move all the sliding masses down to the left part. So you slightly take it up, lift it up, and then take it to the left. And also for the last one, we do same. So we ensure that it's always towards the left. And then something else we'll notice that is that on each of these beams, we have some grooves. These are like tiny marks on it, and whenever we are moving our sliding masses, we have to make sure that they fit perfectly on each groove, and you can see that this is fixed and it can move. So we are sure that this is well fixed. So I'll take this guy back. Now we have our balance all set up. Now we notice that if you look here, you see that these two marks are not in line. So we have to find a way before we do take any measurement, start loading any mass on this pan. We have to make sure that this line here and then this zero mark, that they both align. So how do we do that? Now we can see from this end, from this left side of our balance, that we have a kind of knob that we can turn. So it's just located just below, under the metal pan we have. So you can use this to adjust, when you turn it clockwise or counterclockwise, you can use it to adjust the position of the weights, so either towards the left, towards the right, so that we can have our mark, the zero mark, aligned. So I'm just going to be doing that so that the both marks will align. So now we can see that we successfully aligned the marks, the scale. So we can now get an unknown mass and then try to figure out exactly the value of the mass of that item. So I'm just going to pick one of these masses that are being balanced, and I'm going to place it on the pan. And once I do this, it's going to tilt our pan towards the left. because the weight towards the left is now higher. So what you are going to try to do is move these sliding masses along the beams, each of the beams, to try to get like a balance scale, right? Try to get this mark, the 0 mark again. So that's what we're going to try to do now. Now the first thing we should do, or the first sliding mass we should move, should be this one, the middle one, which is the largest one. Now you can see that on this beam we have like the 500 gram inscription here. We have the 400 and the 300 and so on. What it means is, if I move my sliding mass up until the last point, it means that I'm at the 500 gram point. So it means that I have like a 500 gram weight towards at the left hand or the right hand part of my whole setup, right? So once I do this, you can see that our balance tilts down towards the left. So it means that this is too much. The 500 gram weight is too much. So I'm going to reduce it a bit, maybe take it over to 400. And you can see I'm placing it at the groove. Make sure it's all locked in. And when I leave it, it still goes down. It means that this weight is too much. I'm trying to achieve like a balance, between the left and the right. So I'll take it back, to the 300 and to the 200, to the 100, okay, to the 200. The 200 is much, so I'll take it to the 100 back. Now the 100 is okay, so we are going to try to it means that the width here is greater than 100 but not up to 200. So I'm going to use this second sliding mass to move also across the beam. Now you can see that this has markings of say from 10, 20, 30 and so on up until 100 gram. So I'm going to move this along this. I'm trying to balance this and bring this to 0. So let me do that now. So that's too much. I'm going to take it back. Okay, the 50. The 50 is too much. I'll take it to 40. Okay, 40 is less. Now I'm going to use the smaller one. So this gives us from left to right 10 grams. So I'm going to slightly move this. You are going to be watching the 0 scale while moving this towards the right. So let me move this a bit forward. So I'm just going to take my reading now. How am I going to take this reading? I'm going to check from the big one. We have like 100 gram here and here 40. So these are about 140. And then from here we have about say 5.3. So 145.3 grams. So basically what the item we have here is about 145.3 grams. So I'm just going to look at the weight here. This is written 147.5 grams. So this is like an approximate. Now, one more thing, we can see that the highest weight that we can use on the left part of our scale, on the right part of our scale, is about, this is 500 plus 100, that's 600, and then plus 10, that's about 610 grams. But we have this extra standard weight that came, or masses that came with this balance. So it means that this reads 1 kilogram. So what this does is that it can add an extra 1 kilogram to the right side of our triple beam balance. So for example, if we have like a weight that's so much heavy that is greater than 610 grams, that we want to actually determine its weight, we can add this here so that we can be able to capture that. And we have a second one here. This is also 1 kilogram. You can also add that here. So this means that we have about 2 kilograms and an extra 610 grams towards the right part of our balance. So that will help us determine the mass of a much more larger item. We also have here a 500 gram mass. So if we don't want to use the both say 1 kilogram, we can use maybe one of the 1 kilogram and then 500, or we can just use only 500 gram to be able to determine whatever weight that's on this. So you can get this item and any other scientific or laboratory instrument at Simmyfranks West Africa Limited. Thank you.
Simmyfranks, advancing science, empowering Africa.